Hi, and welcome to the 2021 Scleroderma Foundation Virtual Awards Ceremony and Cocktail Hour. My name is David Murad, Director of Chapter Relations and Advocacy, and I'll be your host. So whether you're joining us internationally, from Canada, from Manhattan, or wherever home may be, we're glad that you're here. To kick things off for our first award presentation, we're traveling to Minnesota to meet with Dr. JoAnna Harper. She's a doctor of pharmacy. She's no stranger to the Scleroderma Foundation. She's been a guest speaker and presenter at many national and chapter events, and we're delighted to meet with Dr. Harper and presenter with the National Volunteer of the Year Award. How are you today, Dr. Harper?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Doing great. We're so happy to kick off our awards presentation today with you, to present you with the National Volunteer of the Year Award. Many people in our organization benefited from the work that you have done, although you may not be fully aware. My understanding is that when we had to quickly transition many of our events, or not all of our events, from in-person to virtual, you were right there to help make that transition as smooth as possible. And it wasn't just confined to those early days to get things kind of moved over virtually. I mean, it's extended well throughout the pandemic. So it's a joy to acknowledge all of that work that you have done that's benefited so many people as National Volunteer of the Year. Could you share with us just a bit about the work that you did that has benefited the organization and continues, and really kind of what motivated you?
Yeah, so this has been a passion of mine since I was very, very young. I first start by saying I am absolutely honored and humbled to be selected for Volunteer of the Year award. That's a huge accomplishment for me, as well as the rest of the foundation, for all of the education and the efforts that you put into making sure that everybody is very well educated. So I greatly appreciate all your efforts put into this. It's been my pleasure to be part of the Scleroderma family for over 25 years. Providing educational services, no matter how controversial, as everybody knows, most of my topics are, and support for the friends who have become family, and hope for those newly diagnosed. Being a patient myself for over 25 years, and traveling that tough road that I know everybody travels, I like to share that we are all in this together, and we want to provide the best educational services that we can, and providing those controversial topics and those topics that everybody wants to know about, digging in really deep in those topics, and finding out how we can communicate with our providers, and making it a little bit more, less of a taboo and more of a conversation with all of our providers.
Well, I hear that expression a lot, that we're all in this together, and I think I can express the sentiment of our entire community in saying that it gives us great comfort to know that, yes, we are in all of this together, and it's really comforting to know that people like you are in it together with us. So the work that you have done is the wake of that effect extends probably far beyond any of us will ever know, and for that we are eternally grateful. And it gives me great honor and privilege to present the National Volunteer of the Year Award to JoAnna Harper, Doctor of Pharmacy 2021. Here you are. So now we head north to our neighbors, Canada, to present our Messenger of Hope Award. This year's recipient is Dr. Brett Thombs, a researcher at McGill University. The Messenger of Hope Award acknowledges the person whose actions and work offer inspiration and hope to the scleroderma community. This year's recipient is in Canada. We head north to Dr. Brett Thombs. Hi, Dr. Thombs. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to be able to present this award to you and appreciate that you're joining us while you're on vacation.
I'm just really honored to receive this. I mean, I can't imagine a more touching award to come from a group like the Scleroderma Foundation, and that focuses on the work we're doing in the scleroderma community. And I do want to say that I think more than anything, this award really really reflects that it's just a community of hope. Our group is a community-based organization, and I think that this reflects that the scleroderma community really works together tremendously and is really a hopeful community in itself.
Well, our community, the leadership of our communities has engaged with you a few times. You've joined and talked to us about the support group leader training program. Could you say just a few sentences about what SPIN is?
Yeah, well, SPIN is a group of people with scleroderma, researchers, healthcare providers who care for people with the disease, who all have come together over the last 10 or 12 years we work together to try to figure out what are the most pressing problems that people live with on a daily basis, try to better understand those problems together, and then we develop programs to try to help support people to address these challenges. We test the programs, and then we make them available free of charge through organizations like the Scleroderma Foundation.
Well, I've heard firsthand from a number of our chapter leaders, from support group leaders who have either are in the program, have been in the program, completed the program, and absolutely love it. So I've heard nothing but positive things about this program. So what's next for SPIN and your program?
Well, our next program is called SPIN Self. It's a self-management program, which basically is a program that helps people cope with the many different challenges of living with scleroderma. And we're going to be rolling out, it's a group-based intervention where people gather with other people with scleroderma, with peer leaders. So some of the people who have been trained through the support group leader training program are going to lead these groups, along with experts in our medical community, to learn some of the skills that they can use on a day-to-day basis to cope better with the challenges they confront every day living with this disease.
Well, Dr. Thombs, I wish that we were in person, that we could present this to you in front of the gathered scleroderma community. But in lieu of that, I will still like to present this to you, the Messenger of Hope to Brett D. Thombs, Ph.D., 2001. And it's my honor to present this to you.
Well, thank you, David. I think I'm honestly accepting this on behalf of many people who work with us through SPIN and have helped us develop all this. It's really touching to get this from such a great organization like the Foundation. Thank you.
And next we are going north to Canada to meet with Dr. Janet Pope, who is this year's recipient of the 2021 Doctor of the Year Award. Dr. Pope's credentials are so impressive that I'm going to have to read them. Dr. Janet Pope is a professor of medicine in the Division of Rheumatology and also Epidemiology and Biostatistics at the University of Western Ontario. Dr. Pope, you have played a significant role. This last year has been like any other year that any of us can imagine, and you played a significant role in helping the scleroderma community cope and be prepared with this pandemic. Not only has it affected our community, but organizations nationally and internationally have replicated the work and the information that you have done on behalf of our community. Can you take just a moment just to tell us a little bit about that and how maybe it inspired you?
Absolutely. So first of all, I'm thrilled to be nominated for this, and I actually feel humbled. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I've done, but obviously it takes a village, and I want to thank others as well. So with the pandemic, needless to say, people living with a chronic autoimmune disease like systemic sclerosis, scleroderma, it was very scary not knowing if COVID would affect them far worse than other colleagues and peers volunteers and their family, being afraid to even go to the grocery store or worried about going to doctor's appointments. So it was the last year and a half have been, as you say, like no other. And so one thing we tried to do was have some questions and answers, both posted and, of course, as well, looking online to help people understand their risks in COVID, understand how things would affect them and their health, and whether their meds were a good idea or a bad idea with COVID risk. Obviously, we wanted them to stay on their meds. And then looking at vaccinations as well, is that something that might flare their scleroderma? And at this point, we think we can answer that no, getting everyone vaccinated is a great idea. And that our patients, the major risk factors are really the things like older age, really bad lungs, bad heart disease. And some of the other risk factors like having scleroderma or some of our meds would be more minor risk factors if there was no serious heart or lung involvement. So I think we could kind of help our patients make a game plan that was right for them. I'd also like to talk about with the SF, really being a part of this community is so important. I've had a grant. I've been on grants review panels. I've also helped some of the young investigators. And over the last year, so many things were able to be done online. And finally, I think for looking at this year, I wouldn't be honored with this award, which I'm accepting really on behalf of so many others, if I didn't have young investigators, my research group, trainees, the patients who are volunteering their time, their blood, their sweat, their tears, really, and the overall organization, and also your really sister organization in Canada that I try to be a strong part of as well, the Scleroderma Society of Canada. So I feel humbled and honored.
Well, thank you, Dr. Pope. I mean, you certainly are a friend to the scleroderma community. You're a mentor to so many. And it is our honor to share this really just small token of appreciation that recognizes the work that you and your team have done. And Dr. Pope, on behalf of the entire Scleroderma Foundation and community, it is my great privilege to present you the Doctor of the Year Award 2021 to Dr. Janet E. Pope. And I'm handing it to you virtually. And now we travel to Binghamton, New York to meet with Bruce Cowan, Executive Director of the Tri-State Chapter. Bruce is this year's recipient of the 2021 Lifetime Achievement Award. There's not enough time to list all of the contributions that Bruce has made over the last many years to the Scleroderma Foundation. Just in the time that I've been with the organization, Bruce was a member of the National Board. He was on the Chapter Relations Committee, which is where I first worked with him. He has been a mentor and a friend to many, many chapter leaders across the organization, and it gives me great joy to be able to present this award to my friend, Bruce Cowan. Hi, Bruce. How are you?
I'm doing great, David. And yourself?
I'm doing great. It is such a joy and an honor to acknowledge you and present you with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Scleroderma Foundation, there might be one or two people in our audience today who may not know who you are. And so, Bruce, you are no stranger to this organization. You've worn probably more hats than almost anyone. So as our 2021 Lifetime Achievement recipient, can you take just a moment to tell us what this acknowledgement means to you?
Yeah, I'm honored and I'm humbled to be recognized with the Lifetime Achievement Award because I've been fortunate to attend a lot of the conferences, and I know some of the other people who have aspired and been awarded and recognized for this honor. So it's humbling to me, David.
Well, you have been a friend, a mentor, a cheerleader for so many people across the organization, whether it's another chapter leader, someone who's new, participant in a walk. And so, as humble as you are, I know that the work that you have done and the legacy that you've established is going to continue to impact the Tri-State chapter and the Scleroderma Foundation at large for many years to come. So it gives me great joy and an honor to present you, Bruce Cowan, as the 2021 recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award. Here, I'll come find you here. Here you are. Congratulations. Congratulations, Bruce. And thank you for all that you do. As much as we've enjoyed our virtual conference this year, there is no replacement for meeting in person and live. Next year, join us for the 2022 Scleroderma Foundation National Conference in beautiful Bellevue, Washington. We look forward to seeing you there. And now for our last award of the day, a man who needs no introduction to this community, and closing out our virtual cocktail hour. I'm glad that you're last. A man who needs no introduction, Robert Riggs. Robert.
Well, thank you, David. Yes, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, I can tell you.
So there was some question as to whether it's Founders, just with an S, is it apostrophe S, or is it S apostrophe? I do have to tell you that there was not complete consensus in the national office among our staff about this to some degree. So there's probably no one else thinks this is as funny as you and I do.
Very important.
Being the grammar wonks that we are. But what is significant about the fact that it is S apostrophe is that you join a very, very small list of people, Marie Coyle, Robert Riggs, as recipient of the Scleroderma Foundation Founders Award. Would you take just a moment just to tell us what that means to you?
Wow, yeah, so it's, I was very surprised to receive this award and to be put in the same company and category as Marie Coyle, who was an extraordinary woman and gave over 45 years of her life to this organization and to the community. So to be even considered in that category is just a tremendous honor. And I really look at the award as a symbol of what has turned out to be really the bulk of my life's work in being a part of this organization. And it's very special to me. You know, I think about founders of the organization, and there's so many people that we have worked with through the years who have really brought this organization along. But I can remember the very early days, and when Marie Coyle and I actually sat at competing scleroderma booths at the American College of Rheumatology, and we sort of glared at each other across the aisle, and finally, very apropos to today, we met halfway through across the aisle, and I said, let's go get a cocktail. And we sat down, and she had a Manhattan, and I had a Manhattan, and her husband Walter had a Bombay martini. And we talked about how crazy it was that we were competing with one another when really what we wanted to do and what we knew we had in common was to do something wonderful to help the people who are impacted by scleroderma. And that little moment over cocktails was the starting of the dialogue to create the current Scleroderma Foundation. And so it's sort of apropos that we are sitting here calling this an awards cocktail hour, because honestly, that is how the organization began the process of coming together as what we know today as the Scleroderma Foundation. So all of this is just a beautiful, complete circle of where we are, and I'm so grateful for the award, and I can't thank all of you and my colleagues and the many people throughout the years that I've worked with who have supported me in my work with the organization. And I always hope that it was enough, and I am very excited about its future. So thank you.
Well, Robert, it seems entirely appropriate that before I present you with this award, we both raise a glass. We'll raise a glass to Marie Coyle, to Robert Riggs, the elite members of the Founders Club, but also to everyone who has given their time, their energy, their effort to finding a cure for scleroderma. Hear, hear. Robert, it's a great privilege to present you the Founders Award, that is S', to Robert J. Riggs, 2021 Founders Award.
Thank you so much. I'll put it where this ugly plant behind me will go. I appreciate it.
And that's our awards program for this year. Thank you for joining us. A huge congratulations to all of our award winners. It was great to be able to connect and hear from a few of them. The other awards, the chapter awards, chapter of the year, the education, support group leader, volunteer awards, those that you're accustomed to being presented at conference, those will be awarded during a chapter leadership event later this fall, and then will be shared via social media. It's been a great pleasure for me to host this virtual event and cocktail hour this year. This is David Murad signing off, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great summer. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.